If you want to actually be a profitable sports bettor in the long term, it takes way more work than you would think. I recently did an interview with Front Office Sports on the topic of being a full-time sports bettor and what goes into that, and I wanted to share some of that information with you, but it is going to be a little longer explanation, so save the video down. First, to be transparent, the money that I make off of the bets that I've placed is only a fraction of the income that I make and not enough to sustain a living. I can profit $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on a decent month, but that's not enough to make a living off of. More importantly, because I'm profitable and 99% of bettors won't, people will pay for the picks and analysis and research that goes into this. First part is research. Some people get lost in overthinking who they think is going to win a game or how they think a game is going to play out, but there are real stats that can help inform your decisions. Everyone who is a serious sports bettor uses an app like Odds Checker. This shows you what the percent of money on either side is and what the volume of cash on either side is, and this helps inform if it's a square side or a sharp side, and also if the line will move even more. You also have to line shop. Instead of just getting the Pats plus 6.5 or the Jets minus 6.5, you want the best value available for that play. So if you're on minus 6.5, use MGM for minus 105. If you're on plus 6.5, use Bet Rivers for plus 605. If you're not using a tool to line shop and using multiple books so you can get the best line available, you're not going to be profitable, period. There is way too much value given up every time. Since my background is investment banking, I'm more of an analytics and numbers guy. I pay a lot of attention to betting stats, line movement, and probability based on these factors. But I am a firm believer that no matter how deep into the numbers you are, you have to have an eye test too. You have to watch the sport, understand the sport, and have an idea of how certain athletes would match up against other athletes. This is especially relevant in the NFL, where a lot of people fall into the trap of thinking, well, if this team beat that team and that team beat this team, then this team should beat that team, right? And it's rarely the case. Way more often, it's about the way a team matches up against another team, the way they can game plan for another team, and just how the team is going into that game in terms of time to prepare and how healthy they are, etc. For MLB, it's different. It's understanding the pitching matchup and how the pitchers are going to match up against the hitting of a given team, how fresh the bullpen is, and how those pitchers that are likely to throw are going to match up against the hitters. This is a massive amount of work, and I spend hours a day researching plays, but I also have multiple analysts on my team that do their own research, and we don't talk to each other until everyone's finished their own individual research, and then we talk so we don't influence each other until the final conversation. This is very similar to how a trading desk operates, and if you want to be a profitable sports bettor, you have to treat every single play as an individual investment. For college sports, where there are endless games and teams, we also use a lot of systems, which basically means that if a game meets certain qualifications, then we're automatically going to bet on that game. I don't want to make this video take even longer than it is, so if you have any other questions, drop them in the comments and I'm happy to answer. But one thing I want to point out is this last portion of the article. If someone, myself included, is posting picks and analysis and encouraging you to pay for that sort of thing, understand where they're coming from. If they're flexing wealth and pretending it's all a result of sports betting, they're probably lying and they're probably scamming. If you like the analysis that they're sharing, the research that they're doing, etc., then you have every reason to follow them. If you don't, don't.